What's up? What's up? This your boy Humble Dad, back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. We got a great show for you today. Why? Because I said so. We're gonna be talking about how is your parenting different than your parents, and this question came from my oldest son, and I was just asking him what are some things he would like to know. And so he came up with this question. I thought it'd be a valid question to ask the panel. And we got some newcomers to the stage, and we're going to introduce them, and then we're just going to get the party started. All right. Back without further ado, we're going to come up with Mr. Prototype. How's it going, Mr. Prototype?
What's going on? Happy to be here.
That's what's up, bro. We're going to get it started with the first question. Pretty simple. What is your favorite day of the week and why?
Every day is my favorite day of the week. Reason being, when I first graduated college, I would stand at the bus stop and everybody would say, like, in conversation, I can't wait till Friday. I can't wait till Friday. And I was like, I never want to live like that. So I'm going to enjoy every day, every moment. So every day of the week is my favorite day of the week.
That's a bet. That's good thinking right there. All right. Coming to the stage, Mr. 500. CJ, what up, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Glad to be here.
That's a bet. You got the question?
Yeah, I got the question. Yeah, Friday.
Why Friday, bro?
Friday is usually when I get paid, right? And then it's the second day that I have my daughter for the week, and she ain't got to go to school Saturday, so we get the whole night type thing. You know what I'm saying? I got to drop her back off Monday, but Friday is when it starts. You feel me? That's when the fun starts. So Friday would definitely be my favorite day.
That's a bet. All right. My homie, my friend, the one that doesn't like to wear shirts with undershirts on his suits. You remember that, Bruiser?
Yeah.
Listen, you was the talk of the town, bro.
Oh man, still am.
That's a bet. Hey, you got the question?
Yeah. So my favorite day of the week is Saturday, because I know that Saturday is the day where everybody else, they take a break to go hang out with family and relax. That's my day to try to be the best as I can and get ahead of everybody. I take that day. I don't stop grinding. I know everybody gonna get relaxed. I'm gonna just keep moving forward so I can be at the top. That's why I like the weekends.
That's a bet. I never thought about that. That's good stuff. And we got a newcomer to the stage. Man, late edition. Appreciate you coming to rock with us. Welcome to the stage, Sir Charles the God. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. You got the question?
Yes, sir.
Right,
and I'm going to say my favorite day is Monday. And the reason being is because that's the day that most people hate. That's the day that you actually have to challenge yourself to get up and get out and get going. And Eric Thomas has that thing, thank God it's Monday.
Yeah.
And I bog into that, man, because I like to challenge myself to do things that I don't like to do. And Mondays are hard. And, so I'm up for the challenge on Monday morning. Let's get it.
That's what's up. I would say that my favorite day of the week is any day that I'm able to be productive, So I'm similar to Prototype because I tried to think about which day, like any day I can be productive, every day I can be productive. And that's so for me, I try to live every day as if it's my last because we don't know when we have to clock out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm taking something from everybody that gave their particular day of the week. That's pretty dope. I like that. We're going to get it started with the first question. And the first question is, you want to come? I know you want my daughter. She want to come give me a hug. She just made it home. So, what's up, lady? All right. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. First question is, how well do you know your kid? How well do you know your kid? Now, this is an interesting question because I thought that I knew my kids pretty well to some degree. But as I began to talk to them, I learned things that I did not know based on our conversation, whether it's a new character that they enjoy, whether it's, now I know their favorite color, or whether it's, their best friend, something to that nature. So the first question is, how well do you know your kid? And we'll start with Mr. CJ.
It's a good question. It's loaded. I think I know my daughter fairly well. She takes a lot after me and her mother, so I kind of get in front of her before she think about doing certain stuff. So I think I know her pretty well. But I will say I just had an experience that made me a little upset that I didn't know my daughter would do this. So I was going to get her from school early, right? And when I was picking her up, I walked in to pick her up. Her friends were around her. So I went to go get my normal hug and kiss, and she kind of, do the Heisman on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of pushed me back. And I was like, well, I thought I knew you, but I didn't know you would do nothing like that. So I don't know. I would say fairly well, but they can surprise me. She definitely can surprise me. So that's what I'll say.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Oh, let me go and get my guy Charles, man. You already know.
Well, I got 5 kids, but they're actually 5 adults.
Okay.
My kids range from ages 21 through 29. So I don't have any. So how well did I know them, and how well do I? I mean, they have their own lives now, so a lot of stuff they can keep secret. But when they were younger, I tried to make it my business to be all up in their business, not to compromise their own privacy. But I know the stuff that I used to get away with. Like I started drinking when I was in 6th grade, and my parents had no idea. Like I wanted to be like Ice Cube, with the St. Ides. I don't know if y'all remember. I'm sure some of us old enough to remember St. And I just, my parents gave me a lot of freedom, maybe a little too much, to the point where I used to beg my father for time, and so I just wanted to be all up in my kids' business. So I feel like I knew them pretty well. I knew their interests. I knew what made them tick or what have you. But there's always an element of secrecy or whatever that they can hide stuff, kind of. But I feel like I knew them pretty well.
Who you got going next?
Let's go with Bruiser.
Yeah, so I have a 9-month-old, so I know him very, very well. He hasn't really developed into anything that could cause me to guess. But I did adopt my sister's son. He's a 16-year-old. She struggled with taking care of him because of her situation, and I can say that it's kind of pretty opposite with him. I don't really know him very well. I took him in September. I when I visit, I did hang out with him, but as far as knowing him as my own child, I really don't know him that much. But I've communicate with him from time to time, and I'm able to, embrace some things, some of his qualities and characters and traits that he picked up, away from my household. He's beginning to start to change some of those things for the better. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get rid of the negative. I would say the thing that I really struggle with is trying to get him to speak up. He's very mute. I don't want to say mute, but he's very like low toned, and you can't hear him. You gotta ask him twice, or 2 or 3 times to repeat what he's saying when he's standing with an arm reach. I'm like, hey man, you say you want to be a point guard. You know what I'm saying? You want to make the team. You really got to be vocal. You can't go out there on the court and you having communications issues. And I was like, man, he said he wanted to go to the military. And I said, look, man, that's probably going to be the best thing that ever happened in your life, because those guys are going to get you to use your man voice. You can't be out here talking about talking all low. You got to have some strength in your voice. You got to feel it in your chest when you talk like a man. So I'm struggling with him with that, and I'm trying to get him to, be better in that. But for the most part, I really don't know a lot, but I'm learning. And I'm gonna pass it to my man Prototype.
It's a bet.
Man, for me, I have 4. My older 2 kids, 17 and 14. I don't really know them much at all. It's weird. I mean, it's not a disconnection thing. I raised them, but it's like they hide themselves My oldest one, I think she has like identity issues because of all the different houses she has to live in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly who she is, what she is, and I even admitted to her like, I don't know you, and she's like, you're right, you don't. And my 14-year-old, he doesn't really communicate what he wants, how he feels, what he needs. You know what I mean? And is trying to get him to be any particular thing or push him any certain way. It's like he just doesn't respond to anything. You know what I mean? So it's difficult trying to get to know him and understand him as well. I realized like I'll hear him talking to his friends on the phone, and I'll be like, that's not the same dude that talks to me. Like, you know what I mean? So as far as my younger two, I know them very well. They're 5 and 8. And them dudes is, I know we make them tick, we make them cry, we make them go. Like I know them very well. So it's an interesting dynamic how things played out. But my younger two, I know them very well, down to the T. And my older two, can't really say I know at all.
Why do you think that it's such a difference between your older two versus your younger two?
I think it's a difference in, although I've had custody of all 4 of them, I'm not married. I'm married to the one, and I'm not married to the other. You know what I mean? So the older two, same mom. They've traveled from between my mom, their grandma, their mom.
Oh, okay.
There's so many different styles that they have to, please according to the environment.
Gotcha.
With my younger two, it's my way, my rule, you know what I mean? They understand the environment. They understand the love. They understand what gets them this, what don't, what we appreciate, what we don't. Like, you know what I mean? So it's more structured.
Yeah.
So like I said, I know them very well because they act like, the way I would want them to act. The older two, they wild cards. So I can't even like pick out what they're going to be in the future.
Mm.
So let's go at RJ. What's going on?
Yo, Positive Energy Kings. How y'all feeling tonight, man?
Doing good, bro. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed. It took me a little second because I was being a daddy in real life.
Listen, bro, I already had that conversation offline with so I totally get it, man. Before you answer the question, you got to answer the intro question, which is, what's your favorite day of the week and why?
My favorite day of the week is definitely going to be a Sunday. And the reason why is because that is the day that I choose to be for me and my family only. I do nothing. I mean, nothing outside of seeing by my family on Sundays.
That's a bet. So the question that we're talking about is, how well do you know your kid or kids?
I would say I know my children extremely well. I was blessed to be able to have them both for the first 2 years of their life. I was home. I was actually beginning this business that I'm currently in right now, a coaching business. And in the first 2 years of their lives, I was home with them all day long. You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to really, really be in their lives, understand what it's like to go from infancy to toddler. You know what I'm saying? And now my kids, and my daughter's 6 years old and my son is 5. So do I know them? Extremely well. I know them so well that they do things and I can see it coming. You know what I'm saying? So at this stage of the game of my life, I know I'm not as seasoned as most of you other guys on this platform, but I would say right now in this stage of the game, I know these jokers very well.
It's on you, Dwayne.
Let me get I was a little bit tardy, just like Mr. RJD.
Bro, don't be trying to deflect, okay?
Oh, no, I'm reflecting on the realness of life, okay? Okay.
What's your favorite day of the week?
Favorite day of the week is Friday. It's Friday. So I have the opportunity of taking my daughter to school on Fridays, and when we pull up to the school, they got music playing, and I get to embarrass her. Elbows up, and then we also have the opportunity. I'll take them out for ice cream on Friday. So I'm trying to make those little moments. I'm a little bit behind, but yeah, I'm trying to make those moments where we can remember those. So Friday is our day.
That's a bet. So the question that we're answering is, I should have put it across the screen, shouldn't I? How well do you know your kids?
You know what? I saw one of the little shorts you you snipped together, and I don't know remember the gentleman's name, but he was talking about his son, and he was like, him and his son were cool. They're real cool. And then he was like, "Who are you?" Because then the son, grew up and started, separating from him. So, I tend to try to know my children, but I think as they go off and they encounter other people, they then develop other personalities, and then you start to wonder, like, who are you? And I've had that with my oldest, being 17. I'm like, hey, who are you really? So, and sometimes they.
You muted, humble dad.
I said he'll probably come back here in a sec. Let me take him off and come back. All right. So we're gonna anybody want to add real quick before we move to the next question? That was pretty simple, right? Pretty a good starter question. The next question is going to be similar to it. Since you say you know them well, you don't know them well. For the father or the dads that don't really know their kids well, what are some ways to get to know your children? Right? What are some ways to get to know your children? And we'll start with the senior that has kids that can help us the most, Sir Charles, the God. What are some ways to get to know your children?
Well, I had to think back to what I craved from my parents when I was younger. And it was, I used a lot of recreation. I would take them fishing, go-kart riding, paintballing, whatever, like getting out there and having fun with them. And, it's kind of like being the cool parent, but I wasn't too cool. You know what I mean? Like they knew I'm not your little friend, right? But we did a lot of stuff, man. And also too, I let them know that I'm not perfect. I told them that I was a kid not that long ago, and I'm trying to figure out this parenting thing. And we're a team. I used to always tell them, we're a team. I need your help, just like you need my help. I never put myself. I thought my parents like portrayed themselves like they were perfect. Like they never really talked to me about their flaws, where they messed up at or what have you. And short of being too personal, I was pretty much an open book with my kids and let them know, yo, I'm a work in progress too. Like I don't have it all together, but together we can make this situation like as perfect as possible. And so that's why I really connected with them, like doing a lot of recreational stuff. I mean, sledding, you name it, like everything. And just spending a lot of time with them, even though I worked a lot of overtime. And that was one thing, and I'll yield the floor. But that was the one thing that I kind of was ticked off about my father, with my father, because my parents, they're still together. My pops would always say that he had to work. He had to work, right? And like he was gone to the point where our next door neighbors, which was Sir Hale, them and his brother, like they didn't even know that my father lived with us. And I used to tell Sir Hale, oldest brother, and I'm like, he does live with us. He does. No, he's like, no, he don't. I'm like, dude, my father for decades came home at 1 a.m. and left at 5 a.m. And I used to write notes on his dress and say, Dad, can we go to a baseball game or something? You're like, boy, I got to work. So that's how I built that relationship, to get to know them, because I spent a lot of time with them. I would lay in their beds and just talk to them, Oh yeah. And one more thing, although I never really, and I don't know if this is going to be triggering for somebody, but I never really bought into the whole Christianity thing. I had them in church every Sunday, every Wednesday, because I thought it was important to have something instilled in them, as opposed to, because I know what the church meant to me when I was coming up, and I didn't want to. I wanted them to be around elders. I want them to learn how to speak, in front of people and stuff like that. And so I needed the village, you know. So I was there with them as best I could. So that's how I got to know him.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Let's go with Prototype.
Man, what are some ways to get to know your children? I can't even answer that question because I don't know. I've tried different ways of trying to get to know and understand my kids, but I mean, I've accepted the reality is you won't know them unless they want you to know them. You know what I mean? And as long as they see you as the parent and what kind of parent you are based off of whatever, like they know you. But I can't necessarily say I know how to get to know them. It's all their choice. You can follow their social media, and but you might not like what you you might not like what you find on the other end of that. So I can't. I really don't know. So I'm just going to pass it off to Bruiser on this one.
Yeah, you almost hit on one of the things that I was gonna say is you could if you paying for their phones, you know, you can manage their phones and stuff like that, social media accounts, so you can actually get to know how they think, and know you might be able to find out their sexual preference. I mean, it might be funny, but hey, those things are revealed in that. So yeah, monitoring their phone data is a really kind of non-traditional way of doing it, but sometimes it's necessary to keep them safe and make sure that they're doing the right things and they're searching the right things, and they're, you know, they're they got the right things coming into their mind. That could seem like you got them under a microscope, but you know, when you lose your kids, then you'll be thinking like maybe I should have paid more attention. But yeah, that sports, obviously, you know, recreational things, getting to know them. Those things reveal their athleticism, you know what I'm saying, their ability to mesh with their peers and compete, their competitive spirit. Also, yeah, church is a good thing. You'll know their interest levels. They might not be if they falling asleep in church, you know they're not really interested in. I fell asleep in church all the time. And the lady in front of me she'd always give me peppermints to keep me awake. But that's after she hit me across the head with her fan, though. Those peppermints keep your mouth moving, so it kind of keep you awake. You know, you got something to do. So pause. But I'm gonna pass it to my man CJ since he's nodding his head.
And my daughter's still pretty young. She's 7. But one of the ways I got to know her better was what Sir Charles said, like those like laying in the bed conversations, like them joints be real. She wants to tell me about her friends that she doesn't like, but she'll like tomorrow. We talk about my childhood. She loved talking about my childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how we bond. We bond.
That's my oldest son. He always asks me about my childhood.
Yeah, because I tell her how lucky she is that she got 2 parents that really care about her and put her first in life, because our parents kind of wasn't like that for the most part. So when she, okay, so what did you do? What did you go through? You know what I'm saying? She liked to hear about, it's not the best, right? But my fights and stuff, like, because she knows her dad's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always been there, and I fight for her too. She saw what's going on in them courtrooms. We got closer through that too. But really, just letting her talk is how I got a relationship with my daughter. It's forever evolving. But we had conversations. We talked about a lot. I'm talking about boys, to. Like, not like, you know what I'm saying? Like she finna date or something. But it's just like
boys at 7?
Yeah. Like, you look, man. TikTok.
I'm not saying no. You know what
YouTube
I'm saying? I'm just asking.
They seeing a whole lot more than we was, bro.
Yeah, I'm very aware. Yeah.
So, you know, I've talked to her about you know, your dad, when you get to a certain age, I'm gonna be fine with you talking to boys. Just, you know, let me know what's going on. Let daddy check them out, because I know boys, because I used to be one. You know the whole spiel. You feel what I'm saying? Having conversations like that, but I don't I don't really put no parameters on her to keep her in bounds with certain conversations. I just let her have it because I want her to trust me and understand me, and I want to understand and trust her. So we have those. It's conversations for me. Like I take her out. I've done the tea parties. I've done all that goofy shit, but the most thing I do is listen to her. Like I really listen to what she's saying, even if it don't make sense.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Let me get RJD in there.
Oh man, I get so caught up in saying listening, man. And like I'll be like I'm watching television right now, listening to you gentlemen. But the way I'm gonna like co-sign with my man CJ just said, it's about those pillow talks, man. Like real rap. Like you know how we used to get clown for pillow talking with the ladies back in the day, but it's something different when it's with you and your little girl, man. Like she literally opens up and tells me about her entire day. Like it's to the point where I'm like, yo, let's sing our bedtime songs, go to bed. And then she's like, no, well, you know, today my homegirl, she said something that I didn't like to another girl that I didn't like. And I'm like, I'm getting so caught up in the web.
Hey, you getting the tea, bro? You getting the tea?
Facts, giving good tea.
Yo, I'm talking about I'm getting all of it. You hear me? All of it. I'm talking about being that my daughter's in the school where her mother's actually a teacher at as well. Everyone knows her, so she knows all the tea from all the classrooms, bro. I gotta hear all of it. But the one thing I really realized with my son, he's 5 years old now, and he's not he's not as verbal as my daughter is, but he's way more physical, right? So with him, it's a kind of archaic, kind of caveman style. Is like it's more physical and tangible with him. Me and him, we bumping and grinding. Like, come here, little dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of that right now because our communication is more so physical than it is verbal. And I've learned so much about him, especially in the last couple of weeks of him being home from school, just by literally watching him. Before, I used to get so confused about how to interact with him because I didn't know what he was doing. But what he was doing was interacting movies he had been watching. So when I realized, like, oh, you're interacting that movie, and I happened to see the clip when I walked past the television, it snaps for me, like, oh, that's what he's doing. So next time I see him doing it, I can interact with him, and it lights him up because he now realizes I know what he's doing. So it's about, for my son, is about watching really and paying attention to what his needs are and his moments are. And my daughter is all about that pillow time, man.
Hey, everybody. I noticed y'all been trying to find.
Who you got going next?
Let's go with my man Dwayne.
Oh man, so I'm a little late to the party on this one. I've realized the importance of that one-on-one time, and my father-in-law, my dad, he does a phenomenal job with his grandkids. Like, he will take them out every week. I have 4 kids, and every week he'll take one of them, one day of the week, and he'll go and do something with them on an individual basis. And I'm learning from that. So I appreciate that because I'm now able to then do the same thing. Because you all in the same house, but it's like how you get to know them is on a one-to-one basis, and that's what I'm getting to learn. So within the last month, I've had the opportunity to take out my youngest daughter, and she's 6. I've had the opportunity, and we went to the museum, and just those interactions. Another thing I've noticed, like something like this, I've noticed when she smiles, she'll smile with her mouth closed. Like all her school pictures recently, like she'll smile with her mouth closed. And I noticed that. I'm like, hey, why do you do that? And I do photography on the side as well. And I could tell whenever someone genuinely smiles or whenever someone's reserved in their smile. So I noticed, like, my daughter's reserved in her smile. I mean, she has nice teeth and she has a nice smile. So I'm like, why don't you smile? So when we went to the museum, like, I took a couple of pictures of her, and I saw that smile, and I was like, man, there it is. So it's like being able to then see those moments whenever your kids lighten up, and it takes those one-on-one interactions. And then RJD, whenever, like what you were saying about your son, that whole caveman, that's my oldest boy. Like when you go to give him a hug, he has a leg lifting up. I don't know why he does that, but he has a leg lifting up to climb on you. And every time I'm like Adrian Peterson, like I'm like, hey, get off me like that. Like you don't always have to climb on me like that. But that's his thing. That's the way he wants to climb. So I had the opportunity. We got this little climbing place up the street. And I've been telling them for months, hey, we're going to go to this little climbing place. We're going to go climb. I had the opportunity of taking him the other day and watching him like ball out. Like watching him climb all the way to the top on this thing and being able to congratulate him, being able and watch other people being able to congratulate him. Hey, good job, good job. So watching those interactions, it's like, that's where, for me, that's how I see as for getting to watch them open up in their type of environment. So in those instances where I've been lacking, like, hey, I'm just going by the day-to-day grind, I'm really now trying to hunker down and pay attention to who they are within their space. So whenever y'all talk about pillow time, whenever y'all talk about, listening to, it's getting into their space, being a part of what they like to do. That's whenever I believe that we get to see our children open up whenever they're in their space. So I'm, like I said at the beginning, I'm new to this party, because it's like, I'm like, hey, I'm just being dad day to day, but it's an opportunity to be able to be one-on-one with our children. I think that's important.
Yeah, that's dope. I would agree with that. I would say I would add to it anything that you could do independently, one-on-one, in time. So whether it's going sledding, whether it's going shopping, whether it's going to the museum, whether it's going to the library, going to a game, seeing your kids in their element, because oftentimes I've talked to dads or parents, and they're wanting to do something. They're wanting their kids to do something because they want to do it, as opposed to what is it that the kid wants to do. One of the things that I've been struggling to do is play Roblox. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all familiar with Roblox. Oh my goodness, bro. Like, it's so hard. I think that's what I would say. It's and like they always want me to play. They got to the point now they don't even ask me no more, because I'm like, this game is hard. Have y'all played Roblox before?
Bruh. Nope.
No, but it's definitely a hit in my house,
Bro, it's this one game. Okay, now and this is gonna segue to a question I got for y'all. It's this one game where it's a maze and you climb into the top and you're racing against other people, and it's a time limit as well. And so it's going through like blocks of maze going to the top, and you got to use you got to be a strategy to get to the top, right? Well, my son Joshua, Dwayne knows Joshua. This dude, I don't know what he's not good at, okay? But when it comes to video games, he's a pro. And so this one time, like, I was playing against him, he won 3 times in a row. And it's probably like 20 people playing, right? And I'm like, I can't even get like off the second level. Like, it's probably about 20 different levels to get to, and I can't get to it. And I'm like, man, I quit, okay? Because this is too hard. So but what I found out was I was able to see his ability to think in competing in a competition, in an analytical. I also saw the respect that his siblings had for him whenever he was going. They was like, they said before we started, like, Josh is gonna be hard to beat, right? I see how they admire each other when they're playing with one another. So kind of just alluding to ways of how you can get to know your children is just by spending time with them in their element of whatever that is. And so that segues me into, have y'all ever played anything with your kids? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you for or against winning? Like you let them win, or you like, okay, they can win sometime. Like, what's your thoughts? We'll go real quick. Prototype, what's your thoughts?
Man, it's no mercy, right?
Okay.
So like, I go 100% hard. I'm never letting them win, and it's to give them, like, when they finally do beat me, oh, I beat Dad, and they understand what, you know what I'm saying, what that level means. Like, just recently we just got Connect 4, and I'm smashing everybody on purpose. You know what I mean? Talking trash to everybody. You know, from the 5-year-old on up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With my 13-year-old, I mean, I'm like, hey, come get this whooping. Stomps me. And he's like, I finally beat you at something. Because he can't beat me at anything. He can't beat me in a race. There's nothing he can beat me in. But he beats me in Connect 4. And the way he lights up at the fact that I finally got him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, I don't let them win nothing.
What's up? What about you, CJ?
I agree. If I ever have a son and we play Madden, my boy.
Why you can't play Madden with your daughter?
I mean, she don't like football like that. So
she ain't gotta like it. I played live with 2K with my 4-year-old, bro.
Mm-hmm. It don't hit the same. It just don't. It don't hit the same. But
sure.
we had this little game. It's like a penguin, right? And it's these blocks, and it's you gotta knock down the pieces until you can. Whoever like makes the whole thing fall loses. And I'm watching her make the mistakes, and I'm like, you finna lose. She's like, Daddy, be quiet. I'm gonna let you do it. I would whoop her ass every time, but one time she did get me. I was sour. I ain't like it. It was a sour taste in my mouth, bro. And I was like, see, this is what you got. That's why I can't let you win. Because you need to know how that feels to get beat. Because I know how it feels to get beat by a 6-year-old. You know what I'm saying? She was 6. Like, how I lose to you? You know what I'm saying? So no, earn everything.
That's a bit. What you got, Sir Charles?
Oh, absolutely. See, you know, we got the school system and all of these other programs that giving kids participation awards. They're rewarding them for an effort that they really didn't put in. No, we don't play at my house. No, I'm winning. It kind of reminds me of when I was playing basketball. I got one boy and 4 girls, and when we were playing basketball, I know, right? We were playing basketball, and I used to murder him. I ain't letting up, right? Well, he got about 14, and now he started beating me. Mm-hmm. And I had to tell him, I said, he was like, man, I beat you, Daddy, I beat you. I said, Trey, I can't play no ball. I can't play. I was just taller than you. I can't play ball. I am not a basketball player. I'm just taller than you. And it developed him. Like he had to learn, hey, you got to come strong. And no, we don't give participation awards in my house. And I think it made him more competitive in life.
You remember. It's like you remember when you beat them. I had a neighbor that was like a all-time athlete in the city of Memphis, bro. Chris Churchill, look him up, bro. I didn't want to go to the hole when we was hooping, so I keep shooting jumpers. So he'd be like, man, you a soft ass bitch. You ain't gonna never go to the hole. You know what I'm saying? So it started getting in my head. So I'm constantly going to the rim. He blocking it, knocking it out the way. So finally, I got to the rim and I kind of hit him with a little bow, hit him with the fillet. You know what I'm saying? With the fillet, bro. And it felt so good. I mean, he beat me like 21-5, but I got the layup though. You feel me? It was just that accomplishment of getting past him, and he didn't let me do it. That's important to them kids, man.
That's hilarious. You lost 21-5.
Yeah, but hold
on. I got you.
I hit him with a finger roll, bro. Come on, man.
Bruiser, what you got on it, bro? I know you got the 9-month-old.
Yeah, I got a 9-month-old and a 16-month-old. 9-month-old, I play everything with him. 16-year-old, staying away from all the games that I know he can beat me in. So not even going to even give him the satisfaction. He want me to come in here and play 2K23? No. I need about 3 months to, make sure I'm good. I'm not just finna sit there and take no else. So, yeah, I don't let him win nothing at all. Not even a conversation. I don't even care if I'm wrong. You ain't winning nothing.
So let me get this right. So you only gonna play against him if you can win.
Only gonna play unless when I know I can win it. That's it. If I know I can't beat him, I ain't even playing with him.
That's hilarious. Dwayne, what you got, bro?
All right, so Sir Charles, man, you what you said resonated to me because there's a quote by Dr. Ben Carson. However y'all feel about him, but he in one of his books he talks about how his mom used to make him write book reports. And that was one of the things that allowed him, as for him getting into reading and all this other stuff. And come to find out, as he got older, his mom couldn't even read, but his mom would make him do book reports. And it's like one of those things where it's like you said, I couldn't even play ball. Like that's not my thing. But I'm gonna be hard on you. I'm gonna be tough on you. So like, as for my kids, man, no. I ain't gonna let you win nothing until you deserve it, because like you have to deserve it. So, man, like my oldest, we'll play chess, and I realized she don't like to lose. Who does, right? Who does? Like that's an important lesson in life. Hey, if you're gonna play, you play to win the game. So Mr. Bruce, like how you were saying, like I ain't playing if I ain't got no chance. Like you play to win the game. So it's like, man, like only person I'm letting win is my wife. Okay.
Well, that's more of a business decision, you know.
Absolutely, sir. Hey, I won one time in chess, and that's all it took me to learn.
Yeah.
What?
I'm
I still
spanking
can't-
everybody.
I still can't out-hoop my dad. And he 56.
Good. That's a lesson.
I'm
Hooping, bro.
spanking them all. And I'm taking every challenge though. Even though if I've never played 2K, my boys don't like. Only my 5-year-old wants to play like sports games. Like so, my 14-year-old, he ain't none of that. I be trying to get him like, I don't like football, Dad. Like I'm like, come on, man. Like you gotta change that. but yeah, like I'm spanking everybody, and I don't care if I've never played it. I'm trying to spank.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
RJD, what you got on it?
Yo, man, listen, I am not letting nobody win nothing. Like, I am a hardcore competitor. You hear me? Like, I compete at everything. Just now, I was washing the dishes, and my wife was like, "Yo, why are you sweating?" I was like, "Yo, because yesterday you did the dishes in under 22 minutes. I'm trying to get him in 15." You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm one of them. Like I don't like to lose. And we's playing.
That wasn't even a competition, bro.
Listen. I don't like to lose.
That Michael Jordan syndrome right there.
Yeah. I'm a competitor for real. We was playing what's that game? Trouble. You guys know the game Trouble when you
Yes,
pop
sir.
Yo, my daughter. I'm mad I'm even saying this online right now, yo. For some reason, for the last 3 nights, a game we have before they go to bed, we play a game before they go to bed. The last 3 nights, she's been beating all of us, y'all. Like my 6-year-old has been running the boards on us in Trouble, and I'm like, yo, how is she doing this? She get all the 6s to get out of the house. She jump on everybody. She land on everybody. She send everybody home. Facts. She's definitely about to be grounded. There's no questions about that. I'm about to, you know what? I'm about to break the game. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna press so hard on it tonight that it's broken. That's it. I'm not losing no more. I'm with y'all fellas. We are not losing. Dads, rock on. Let's go, y'all.
Facts.
That's what's up. So that was gonna lead me to my question about like how do y'all respond to when y'all lose to y'all kid, but y'all actually have answered the question.
Yeah, I'm
in the
sour.
question, you know. So for me, like I don't like losing either, and I tell my kids off the top, listen, y'all, I'm winning, period. Okay, and when I lose, I tell them they cheated. You know what I'm saying? So listen, bro, like that's the reason why you won, because you cheated, right? And so in our house, we play all types of games. You know, we have, I don't know if y'all have the game called Beat the Parents. It's a game called Beat the Parents, and they ask different trivial questions that the kids would know, but the parents don't know, and vice versa. And man, we get down, bro. Like you gotta. For me, I gotta be relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. And for them, they got to think about like what would I be doing or thinking nowadays, right? And so we play that game. Monopoly, I can't seem to win, bro. Like I've lost every time in Monopoly. And then we play the Smash Brothers on the Switch. I'm horrible.
That get competitive though. That get real competitive.
Yeah. And so I haven't even attempted to play the Smash Brothers soccer game because I already know what it's gonna look like, Bruiser. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go play. I need to get some turns in.
Do it, man. Don't do it.
Oh, I go because they gonna talk noise. So that's what it is. So I'm not trying to let nobody win. And my kids over here crazy competitive. Competitive. So yeah, I was segue. I was just on a call and my oldest daughter, like I said, she's in homeschooling. And in her homeschool co-op, they're going to do something called a mock trial, where they're going to be lawyers, defendants, and things of that nature, and they're going against another co-op squad. And the director was like, well, we don't want it to be a competition. We just want to really kind of focus in on that they learn well and that they understood the assignment. And I'm like, what? And another parent spoke up before I could, and she was like, I want my kid to compete. Like I want them to know what it's like to win and to lose, And it was like a 30-minute conversation about like, we gonna let our kids compete, right? And I said to him, this is too much. We should just let them compete and look and see what it looked like later. Not coach them to be like, don't get too excited about winning. That's crazy, right? So because when people compete, you get to see who they are. Right, you get to see what type of characteristics they have. What's the integrity like? How do they approach challenges? How do they adjust on the fly? And that's just what it is. That's just my thought process on it. And so before people leave, we're gonna get to the main question, and then we ask some other questions. And the main question is, it came to me because my 11-year-old, as I said in the summary or whatever, is that we always talking, not necessarily pillow talk. We just come in, we just have a conversation about life. And then he'll just ask me like these interesting questions. One of the questions he asked me recently was, are angels sinners? You know what I'm saying? That's the type of questions he'd be asking, right? He said, because God is perfect, and they say God is the only one that's perfect, then what about the angels? And I was like, okay, here we go.
Smart young man.
Yeah, he asked those type of questions. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I don't have no questions this evening. Josh, could you come in here? You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know some questions I could ask. And one of the questions that he asked, he told me, he said, how's your parenting different than your parents? And so that's the question for today. How's your parenting different from your parents? We'll start with Sir Charles.
Well, like I said earlier, my parents never really told me or told us about their flaws. We looked at them as if they were perfect, and in a sense that made me feel like I had to be perfect, right? Like I had, and that was a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't want to be that. Parenting is trial and error because we all know parenting is trial and error. Every day is you're trying something, you see if it works, you never know. So I just say I'm going to try to show them that I'm not perfect and see if I could, at least break that communication barrier down so that, they won't feel that pressure. The other thing is that I wanted to make sure that I spent a lot of time having fun and incorporate fun with learning and that, because when there was time when I had to discipline them, then they really felt like I was taking something away. So like I know a lot of my parents didn't really have a lot of fun with us. My father, like I said, he was always at work. And my mother was like a church lady. She was just a church lady. Like the most fun we have, we would would go shopping or something. You know what I mean? I wanted to do a wide array of things with them, and it was like I incorporated a lot of recreation. So, and that was it. Oh, also too, this might be crazy, but I would give them a ditch day, like once a semester, and we would ditch school, and we would go places. We would go somewhere. Hey, I would try to make sure they're not doing anything important. I'm like, hey, we ditching school today, and I would take them somewhere and while everybody else is in school, and I was the coolest dad ever. And all right, but this is the crazy one. I used to let them vent. I used to give them vent sessions every now and then. Say whatever's on your mind and say it however you want to say it. However you want to say it. Did y'all could curse? If that's how you feel.
Mind your motherfucking business.
If that's how you, for real, Dad, yeah, that's how, my daughter. My second oldest is in the living room. She'll tell you. I used to, Daddy, for real, and that was like the best thing ever. They used to vent. They tell you about the girl at school, the boy down the street. This mother, hey, okay, session's over. You know, after they got it all out, we're done.
Yeah,
session's over. And I don't know. My parents never gave me that, so. I was a little different from my parents, but my kids and I, we're still very close now. So I think I did something right.
For sure.
That's what's up. Anybody can go next. It's on you.
I'll go. I kind of got to look at it from the baby mama, baby daddy aspect, because that's what my mama and daddy was. So what I do different from my mom, I try not to overreact to stuff. My mother had that very bad. Just the simplest stuff, she would overreact. And I understand, I'm not trying to beat her down. I know what she was trying to do. She was looking, I was a boy, you the man of the house at a young age. I gotta have you right for the world that you're gonna deal with. You know what I'm saying? So I understood it. But she would overreact to everything. Fights, overreaction. Arguments, overreaction. Crumbs on the counter, overreaction. Like just too much of a stiffler to where I couldn't even. I hated coming home from school. I didn't want to deal with. I would find ways to stay out. As a matter of fact, I slept in the football locker room a couple times because I didn't want to go home, and she thought I ran away. So I tried with my daughter. I try to be the exact opposite of that. I'm not playing no games. Don't get it twisted. But I try to show it in a way that doesn't scare her, that makes her feel like that this mistake you made doesn't mean I think you're a bad person.
Yeah.
I just need you to understand that you did something wrong, acknowledge it, so I can get you to understand how to move better in the future. So that's what I would do different. That's what I actually do different from my mother. Now, my father, I would with my daughter, I try not to be so blunt with her because my dad is too blunt. I'm not gonna lie. He's way too blunt. Like when he told me this, I did a podcast with my dad, but we did some speaking before I started recording. It's like, bro, don't talk about my mama like that. I get it. You try to tell me what happened. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying? Put some sugar on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't I don't raw. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's like I try not to be too raw because I understand that can also scare my child too. So that's what I do opposite of my father. I try to be more understanding of my daughter. I try to be my mama, she worked at HR. She called it a compliment sandwich. So it's like you give them the positive here, you deal with the negative in the middle, and you top it up or underneath it with another positive affirmation type of thing. So that's what I do more of. And I don't whoop my daughter. I whooped her one time. I cried worse than she did. So I don't whoop her. I ain't even going all that, but I got the rod. There wasn't no sparing the rod with the child with me. I got all of it. You know what I'm saying? But I still got locked up. I still got the fighting. Still got the shooting. It didn't stop me. So I realized that it wasn't the corporal punishment of it. It was the fact that she wouldn't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't explain things to me. It was just like, do what I tell you, and then that's the end of the story. So I actually try to be. I'm not your friend, but I am somebody you can talk to, and I don't always have to have this super dad hat on to where you can't relate to me as I was CJ before I was daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to understand who I am. So overall, I would say what I do different from my parents is I really try to relate to my child, and I try to explain to them how this life really is, and I give them grace.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
man.
Go ahead.
All right. So what I do is different from my parents is I practice selflessness and I lead by example. And I made the sacrifices before having children so I can break that cycle of, fathers having children unprepared and, with no capability or skills of taking care of them. So that is the most important thing I've done. That's different as far as parenting than my parents did. So I recognize the damage it does, and I recognize that your children suffer based on your incompetence. And I wanted to change that by, portraying what I was supposed to get as a kid onto my kids. And my question to I don't know if I can ask a question. I know we was just probably just going
Absolutely.
around.
It's a dialogue, bro. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, cool then. So I had a question for Charles and CJ. So y'all stated that I know Charles stated that he didn't want to appear perfect. You know what I'm saying? He was trying not to be perfect. And I know CJ stated that his mother would always overreact and whatever. My question is for Charles is what's wrong with appearing to be perfect for your children? And for CJ, is it important for you to understand why your mom always overreacted?
Well, so like I said, we all know that parenting is trial and error. And I wanted my kids to know that it's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make them, and you're going to need to hide them from me because I made them too. No matter how much you look up to me, I'm imperfect. Like, I'm still trying to get it right. And I'll work with you through your imperfections so you can get it right as well. And like I say, I just know what that pressure felt like looking at my parents and thinking, man, they never do nothing wrong. And it was like, it left me like I had to hide things from them. You know what I mean? Like I had to hide, I had to sneak. And things that I may have been dealing with, I just didn't want to tell them because they're going to come down on me because they ain't made a mistake ever in their life. So I just want to keep that line of communication open and let them know like we all make mistakes. So talk to me about anything. And I think they were pretty open with me. I know they ain't tell me 100% everything, but they told me a lot of stuff that kids normally don't tell parents. So I tried something and it seemed to have worked. You know what I mean? I didn't know if it was going to work, but it seemed to have. So.
And for me, I do understand why she overreacted. And me knowing, just talking to her when she wasn't tripping, about her past and what she dealt with when she was a kid, it helped me understand that. But like she would tell me, there's no excuses for your bad behavior. So I kept that same energy with her. And we don't have a good relationship to this day because she doesn't seem to understand that. She thinks that because she's offended by something, it gives her the right to overreact and disrespect everybody. So though I understand, I don't give it a pass. I just love you enough to, if you need your diaper changed, I would still change it, but I don't deal with you.
But I get what you're saying and I understand that. But if she you had sisters, like did she was she like that with the sisters too?
So my dad got 4 baby mamas. So but I had one sister that lived with me and her.
Okay, was she hard on her too?
She was harder on, it's hard to say because when my sister got of age, like 14, 15, she would abuse her. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point where you know the old Mike Epps jokes. You got titties now, so you think you're grown type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be harder
So-
on her because they
Right.
get loose.
Right. So it's like in one sense, I understand what she did, but this is why I have a problem with us not having a nuclear family anymore, because I do understand that it was too much for her to do herself. That's really what it was. She had too much pressure on her, you know what I'm saying? And she did the best she could, but it drove her crazy. I saw it. I was there for them nights where she really crashed out, broke down crying. And that's why I'll never be against her, but I have to hold her accountable for what she did, because I mean, it affects me as a father today. You know what I'm saying? I go so hard and try not to do some of the other things that she did that I could possibly be getting something wrong because I'm overcompensating for what I saw with her.
Well, I will say this: most men who don't have, well, a lot of men who have women raising them, they teach them to be soft. So whenever they fall or stuff, they coddle them.
Mhm.
But I would say, although it probably wasn't, it didn't settle with you right.
Mhm.
I could, in her defense, I would say that was a good approach to raising a man, telling him you can't have any excuses. You got to shake it off and move on, because these single mothers, man, raising these sons, these boys, they not teaching them that. So I get your resentment and your issue, but as far as her telling a young man, hey, look, you can't, there's no excuse for bad behavior. That is how society is going to treat us young men. Now, that's why
So,
I asked you, did
what-
she
what
treat your sister like that? Oh, go ahead.
What
go
I
ahead.
noticed about CJ's story, so I grew up with a single mom as well. It's the fact that she was so hard on him. He then had to, he was like, I still got in trouble anyway. So he didn't understand the balance of masculinity. And that's what it was, you know what I'm saying? Because she was so hard, he lacked that balance, like, you know what I'm saying? So he probably thought that doing this extra stuff, running the streets or whatever he might have did, was him being masculine, was the masculine side of him, which messed him up even more. Instead of having if he would have had the balance of a dad to be like, X, Y, Z, this and that, blah, 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 this is not how you handle this, chill, or even to put her in place to take the pressure off of her. Because a woman can't really raise a boy. I don't think it can really work out, you know what I mean, the way it needs to be, because they'll be too hard on a young boy or be too soft. They don't understand the balance themselves.
They don't have the balance.
They don't have the balance because you're thinking about, I'm raising this boy, I got to make him hard.
But she's raising out of fear.
Exactly. So, I mean,
strong in the body, weak in the mind.
She don't understand that, oh, no, this is not how a man's going to come in and be like, no, don't do this. Don't do that. Like, even I have to tell my wife sometimes, like, hey, don't talk to them like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a balance. It's a balance of everything.
It's so true what he's saying, because what happened was, when she had a boyfriend or when she had a stepdad, life at the house would be so much better. But once that didn't work, it's like it amplified and got 10 times worse. Like, yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
I think I see what it is, Dan. I think I see the projection of hate she had for your father was on you. And when she would see you, she would see your father.
No, she said that a lot.
When another man came in the house, it suppressed that, because she had that energy, that love from a man. But when he would be gone, all she could do was see the man that she wanted to be with or that failed. She would see that in you and through you, and then she would project her anger. I see that shit happen to me.
Yeah, I got that a lot. Like, you just I be telling folks, I got that real this, like, what you hear, these talking points in these spaces, like, I know for a fact that a lot of it's true, because I really heard you look just like your black ass daddy. You act just
your daddy
like your
ain't
black
shit.
ass
You ain't gonna be shit.
Right. That's how I got talked to until she needed something. Then it was different.
Gentlemen, I got to slide out.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed myself. I wish I could stay, man. This is a dope conversation.
Appreciate you, man. You're always welcome, bro.
All right, cool.
It was nice be cooking up, man.
So I'll go ahead and chime in next.
You say what, CJ?
I said humble dad be cooking up, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'll be back to get a plate.
I appreciate that.
All right, gentlemen.
Slide too, gentlemen.
Have a good one. For sure, CJ.
All right.
Go ahead, prototype.
So my parenting style was completely different from how I grew up. For one, my kids aren't in survival mode. Like my mom worked and went to school, so I basically raised myself. It was just me at home by myself. You know what I mean? Just trying to not get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So how we eat is different. How we communicate is different. Like everything is different, you know, based on how I'm raising my kids. And like I said, I'm not raising my children in survival mode. I will say my parenting style from my older two kids and my younger two kids is also completely different, because with my older two kids, I was overcompensating for the lack of nuclear family structure I had in place. For my younger two, I don't have to overcompensate. I'm actually way more laxed because I had that partner to kind of make sure they handle that part of this or that. I don't have to overbear nothing. Like I know sometimes she probably look at me like, "Hey, you taking it real easy," like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, "Well, I don't gotta do that. I got you here now." Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but like the older two, it was an overcompensation of how I was parenting. You know, because I felt like I had to be the super dad. Like I said, I had custody of my older two. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I got to teach them this, got to teach. Like it was a very much trainer like atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, my older daughter was All American in softball, so I like trained her from 8 to like 13. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like training sessions. She's like, "I'm tired of training. Can I have friends?" I'm like, "No, we're playing softball." Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just completely different on even how I parent the two pair. You know what I'm saying?
Your two youngest are those daughters or sons, or son and daughter?
I have one girl, which is a part of the two, is the older. My daughter's 17.
Because I know
And
you
my-
stated your younger two, you parent them are different than your first two.
yeah, definitely.
So your younger two are
All
girls.
boys.
Oh, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I got 3 boys, 1 girl.
And you say your partner helps you handle
Oh
the
yeah,
other.
yeah. She do all the like extra nurturing, the teaching, you know what I'm saying? But it's because I got the system in place. You know what I'm saying? Like I
That's
seen
just-
how wrong it could go without it, and what I had to do, and it still didn't work. That's why I'm sitting here like I don't even know my older two kids, even though I've had custody of them, even though like I've tried to be a super dad to them, still don't know them, still didn't work. Without the nuclear structure, everything falls apart. You know what I'm saying? It's always a gamble, and there's no real way to like call it on the other end. You know, no matter how good of a parent you think you could be.
It
No,
sound like the first two kids. You say you was overcompensating.
Oh yeah.
It sounded like you was overcompensating for the time that you lacked with them.
No, I didn't. I had full custody. I didn't lack.
Oh, you had full custody?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
lack
So
any time.
I was confused. I thought you said you didn't raise them.
No. I'm saying I overcompensated for their mother and for all the different houses they were indoctrinated by.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So they would go to my mom and like she's teaching them one thing. They would go to their grandma, they're teaching them one thing. They would go to her mom, they're in all these different structures, they're seeing so many different things. So I gotta combat this. I was the only one with a solid structure in the whole, you know what I mean, in the whole plan.
So your relatives, and they was able to get access to them and actually instill principles in them, and
Right.
you pretty much had to go and cross reference those and be like, "Hey, look, I know it's your grandma, but
Yes.
yeah, that's not what you need to do." Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm
exactly.
glad you said that, because I have a 9-month-old, and
Mhm.
I don't even think I'm gonna leave my child around them long enough to even pick up any behaviors.
Well, you absolutely shouldn't. It like my younger two is a closed circuit. I control what goes in, what goes out. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing outside of nothing that I'm allowing to, pick up. Everything's safe. There's no harm threats. They live in a completely different world. Like even though they're growing up in the same house, they think and function completely different. You know what I'm saying? Even their level of confidence is different. You know what I'm saying? Just like they just move with a certain little I know this is mine. I know this is complete comfort. I can lay on daddy this way. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like my oldest son, like my son, like the older one, he's still like skeptical about how to interact with me when I'm even like around in the family. Like, yeah, it's wild. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of like, he's a stranger in his own house.
Do they have anything in common? Like, do they have any common thing, values? I know
What?
you said they're completely different. Like, is there anything that they like commonly share?
Roblox. But no, like I said, it's a completely different vibe and environment between the four kids. You know what I'm saying? Like the younger two, them two are thick as thieves, can't break them up. They argue, they fight, but I mean, they brother to the highest level. You know what I mean?
They also boys. They close in age, right?
Well, 5 and 8.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Because I have an 11 and an 8, and they thick as thieves. You know what I'm saying? Like they rock together no matter what.
Yeah, it's just
but my 11 and my 13-year-old, they're it's a boy and a girl. They're in the same house, but they don't connect the same, right? So even your older two, it's a boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be somewhat of a challenge for them to rock together, but they should have some type of commonality, though, somewhere. I think that's what Bruce is getting to. It's like,
like I said, there's no commonality because they're pulled in so many different ways. They don't know where to be. They don't know where common is. You understand what I'm saying? They don't know what's comfortable. They have to act like my daughter has, like, she literally has a different personality based on whatever house she's staying in. And wherever she's staying, they know her that way. You know what I'm saying? Not even like the way I know her or the way that person know her. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know who she is because she switches modes every time she goes to a different house.
That's what's up. Okay, I got you. Dwayne, did y'all go? Did y'all?
I'll jump in on this because prototype. What you're saying as for balance, that was what I was thinking from the very jump. Like, I found it interesting. Like, as for my parents, like my dad, he's a certain way, and then my mom's a certain way, and they were married, but then they got divorced whenever I was 8. But then what I did get to see as I got older and got to be able to witness certain characteristics or traits was I was able to see certain things in my mom. I was able to see certain things in my dad separately. So I didn't see that nuclear family. So as for doing, that's the main thing that I'm actively pursuing with intention, is not to have my children grow up in a split or a what is it? I don't desire my children to grow up in a split household, because I know how much damage mentally that it can cause. So, or having them come from a broken home, because I came from a broken home. So whenever you were saying as to that balance, like my mom, she's good with money. She's from Jamaica. She was like, man, hey, whenever I have that conversation with her, she's like, hey, I knew what poverty was. So whenever I came to America, I didn't want any parts of it. Like, I'm going to pursue and achieve as much as I can with those opportunities. But then my dad, he's from America, so he has a different perspective of it. So he would go and spend the rent money just so we could have fun, right? And she's like, we ain't doing that. So like those differences in characteristic and difference in approach was what then caused their divide. They weren't able to find that balance. So that's where, as for the importance for that balance for me. Now, I noticed whenever Sir Charles, he was like, he said it's okay to make mistakes. Earlier in our conversation, we're talking about as for video games, like, or even not even necessarily video games, but just like losing. How do we handle losing? And I think that goes into then the whole showing that we're not perfect and how we handle. Like, I do the same thing what you were saying, Dad. Like, hey, like to my oldest, hey, you cheated. Like, I didn't. You cheated. But then there's jest in that. But then I'll give the kudos. I'll be like, hey, well done. Well done. Hey, you got me. And there's something important in that. Like we could jest about it, but at the end of the day, I want them to know sincerely, hey, you did get me. Good job in that, because I'm not going to let you win. And I remember beating my dad in a foot race for the first time. Boy, he tore up his feet trying to beat me. And I'm like, yeah, that was an extra reward for me. Boy, put that skin on a daggum trophy. I'll take it. So it's like, I remember those, like, and he tried and I tried too. And I remember I beat him. So I take appreciation in that. So as for with our kids, I do desire to also let them know as for my mistakes and have them learn from that. And also then allow them to know that I'm not perfect, but from a biblical standpoint, it says, be ye perfect. So there is a pursuit for that. So like what CJ was saying, hey, you ain't got no excuse, right? So that also ties into, if you know better, you better do better. So like as for instilling these things into my children, as for these principled items, it's like, hey, winning is important, but how do you handle losing? Hey, pursuing perfection or listening to direction, like that's a good thing. But how do you handle whenever you miss the mark? Like I desire to instill those things in them. So, and then also last thing, prototype. You made mention of eating different, and I found that very interesting, because there is something about having somebody staring at you.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yes. There's something about competition. And I remember with my little brother, man, I couldn't stand him growing up. My little brother, he's about 4 years or 3 years younger than me, and I couldn't stand him. We used to go to California and spend time with our dad together, different moms, same dads. And we used to go, and I used to pick on him. I'm like, come on out here, man. Let's throw this football. And he was like, nah, man, let's go do the spelling bee. I'm like, nah, man, come throw this football. So he was more intellectual and I was like more physical. And I used to pick on him for that. But I love him to death. Love him to death to this day. We went to El Paso together the other day, 9-hour drive, chopping it up. And it's that, we didn't have anything in common then, but we have things in common now. But we can talk about how he used to be so slow eating, and I used to get it in, like Ezekiel Elliott eating. Like I'll get mine done, and I'll be looking at his plate. And there's something about competition whenever it's like, hey, if you ever watch dogs eat, it's like that. It's like that. Like if you don't finish yours, that's more for me. And with that level of competition, like within siblings, I think that leads to, or it can lead to, a healthy competitive relationship. Because hey, if you leave anything on your plate, and I think that's a life lesson as well. If you're gonna leave anything in your plate, you're leaving it for somebody else. You're leaving it for somebody else. Even my youngest, 3 years old, he'll get down from the table, and then guess what? His brother will see that he left something on the table, and he'll go and eat it. Then guess what? He comes over and he's mad because his brother's eating what's on the table. It's like, hey, handle up whenever you have the opportunity. Handle up. If you don't, somebody else is going to capitalize on you. So it's those life lessons from siblings. And as for being able to instill them, I had younger brothers. I had an older brother. I had to deal with those things too. So it's like being able to teach my children those things as for how to handle those adversity. That's how I call it.
That's dope, man. This is phenomenal. I appreciate y'all, brothers. RJD, what you got, bro? You on mute? Look at Shay. She ain't gonna make it to the show, but she gonna chime in offline. Look at you.
She making that money.
Yeah, probably. So as RJD is getting this stuff together, I would say for me, one of the things that was different was the nuclear family. That was the thing that was different for my kids, and we would converse with them about you know, how different it was being raised by single parents, right? Their mother, Jen, you know, my late wife Jen, she was like also raised by a single mother, but she would sometimes go to her father as well. So she would go back and forth. And so she would share with them those different conversations that she would have with her dad and her mom and how she grew up. Same thing with me, right? I was raised by a single mom that was, you know, at times, you know, kind of kind of hard on me, but I can see the value in it. But at the same time, because I didn't have that balance of what it was like to be a man in a relationship with a woman, or the one that I did have wasn't really advantageous to me because it wasn't good. So the thing that I've done differently is similar to, you know, Sir Charles. I apologize, you know, if I did something wrong, because I don't think that I want them to know that I saw my error, not that I'm perfect or not perfect, but that Daddy is willing to say, you know what, I missed that one. And also one of the things that's different is that I talk to my kids like I have conversations with y'all. You know, my 4-year-old, we talk on the way to school about different things. You know, right now I just recently taught her how to count to 100. You know, and then we learn how to spell. You know, and things of that nature. Then I got my 8-year-old. You know, he likes to wrestle, likes to box. That's not something I could do with my mom. You know what I'm saying? And he loves that. You know, like he can't listen. This was crazy about Ethan. I don't know if you noticed, Dwayne. Dwayne, my dude, right? He know my kids. Ethan, if he walked by me and I punch him, he ready to go. Right? He finna try to swing back. Josh, I hear him. He like, why you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that different. Like Joshua, he's like, he doesn't want to exert his strength to see where he's at, right? With me. He honors dad in that way, right? But if it's a video game, he finna try to destroy me. I'm gonna tell you this quick story. Like, this is crazy. My son Joshua, I told you he's really good at video games. For my birthday, I said, what y'all want to do? They was like, we want to play video games. So I'm playing this Marvel game, and Ethan beats me. And I'm like, goodness gracious, I lost to an 8-year-old, right? I said, okay, Josh, it's your turn. I beat Joshua. I'm excited because, like I told you, Josh beat everybody at everything, not just in the house, but when he goes other places, right? Even at the church, right? And we have a game system, and they play all the time. So, so I'm playing. I beat him. I beat him twice, right? I said, see, I got your number today, bro. Ethan said, you know, Joshua was playing with you, right, Dad? Like, he let you win. I said, no, he didn't. He didn't let me win. Ethan said, Josh, did you let Daddy win? He said, yeah, I let him win. I said, run it back, bro. Run it back. Let's see if you can beat me. He gave me that work, bro. But I lost by like a smidgen because, you know, he had got my hopes up and whatnot. And so that's a different thing that we do. Yeah, you let me win, Shay. That's the thing that's different about than how I was raised. Try to have fun, try to make memories that will last forever. And being a single dad, I can definitely see why my mom was so stressed, or why other mothers were so stressed. You know, I handle it a little bit different, but I think that I oftentimes reside to, I'm stressed out, I'm gonna take it out on them, and that's not okay, right? And now I have Kendra coming into the mix, and who said it? Was it Prototype? I think Prototype said, you should like what you doing over there? Like, I'm, you know, you act like you ain't got nothing to do, and you like, well, you're here. Well, my lady was the same way. She was like, when I get around, you act like you ain't got, like, there's nothing for you to do. No. It's not that I don't have anything to do. It's just a different level of intensity.
And the women don't want to see us sitting still. They do not want to see us sitting down, bro. Like, I don't know what it is, but whenever we sit down chilling, it make their blood boil, bro.
And I'm like, man, it's a different type of mental space. Like, if something pop off, you know what I'm saying? I got it. But like, you're here, I know that I don't have to worry about a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? But But that's what this Humble Dad platform is about, letting people know the nuclear family is where it's at. And having a dad in the household is an incredible advantage to, and not only just advantage, it's just how it's designed to be.
So my question to you, I heard you and Dwayne.
Listen, are you moderating today, Bruiser?
No, I'm just
messing
I
with
just
you. Go ahead,
recognize
bro.
when I
Let
recognize
him have it, Bruiser. Let him have it. Let him bruise him up now. Bruise him up.
when I recognize I'm surrounded by gentlemen that's much older than me. I try to take advantage and use the opportunity to learn something.
That's a fair
I'm
statement.
a very humble person, so I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I don't always have the answers.
Okay.
So that's why I ask a lot of questions.
good.
I can add things to my ideology.
Yeah.
I noticed y'all said something about perfection, and I think this the third time I heard it. I'm like, what convinces y'all that seeing your children need to see that you make mistakes? Like, what convinces y'all that is actually a benefit to the children?
I'll jump in on this one.
All right.
Sorry, Humble Dad. It's a benefit because a part of perfection is acknowledging your deficiencies. Once you're able to acknowledge your deficiencies, then you can get surpast it. If you are unable to recognize and acknowledge your deficiencies, you will always be stuck in that same place. So in the pursuit of perfection, you have to get rid of the imperfection in yourself and in your character. And once you do that, then you can then move past and forward in that. That's how I look at it. And there are many things, even like from the aspect of generational curses. In order to go past that, you have to be able to acknowledge it. And I think it was HD that made mention of that earlier, of being able to acknowledge when you do have a fault. And I'm pretty sure, I'll even go out on a limb. I'm 100% sure that you've encountered that person in your life who is never wrong. My wife would say that's me. But there's those people that you will then encounter in your life that are never wrong. And once you're able to then acknowledge I was wrong, that's how I believe that you're able to move forward. And then from a biblical standpoint, for me, is as for be ye perfect. In order to be perfect, you have to have an example or an image of what perfection is. And that image is out there. Like for example, whenever it comes to sports, I watched Ronaldo, a good soccer player, and they asked him an interviewer asked him the question, hey, when you see this person, like, does he push you to drive you to be better? He had an interesting response from me, because in his response, he said, I don't need him in order to push me to be better, because I push myself. I believe that I'm the best. And I noticed that in a champion's mentality. As much as I can't stand Kobe, and I've said it before, and I continue to say it as much as HD hates it. Kobe is I'm not a fan of him, but I have to respect him. As for those champions, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, they won't say that there's nobody better than them. That's a championship mindset. There's no one better than you. And that's whenever you get to a different level. And as for that perfection, it's like, hey, realizing your faults. And that's for me, from a different standpoint, knowing I am not them. But as for desiring to be better, I have to be able to then see someone. And for me, that someone is Jesus. So in that, as for be perfect, as for pursuing, there's a lot of deficiencies in myself, a lot of them. And the only way I can get past that is to acknowledge them. And then, hey, for my children, hey, they might think they're right all day long. But in that, I have to then push back, pull back, and then, hey, you will be wrong. And there's like what you said, Bruiser, like as for there's humility in being wrong. And once you embrace that, that's where I believe the runway will be clear for us to be able to take off.
Yeah, for me, I don't want my kids to think that they have to be perfect, because that's I mean, other than following Christ, because he sets the standard, right? And also, if I'm saying like Paul said, look at me as I follow me as I follow Christ. If I get off track, then I can come to them and say, what I did was not okay, but listen, this is how you deal with the things that you struggle with, because everybody's going to have a struggle. And if you think that you have to be perfect, that means that you're not going to share with people that you're struggling. You're right. Especially us men, we don't talk about the things that we struggle with. Like I have to. So for me, just, I tell people, I had to get an accountability partner, because I know that me trying to handle some of the decisions that I have to make by myself, yes, I can make them, but at the same time, is it wise to do things alone? Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it's not, right? Because you want to have an idea that your decision makes sense, right? And so for me, that person is Dwayne. I'll say, hey, Dwayne, was I wrong at this? And he'll tell me yes or no, right? But I want my kids to be able to do the same thing. So when I come to them and say, you know what, matter of fact, it was a situation where I disciplined my oldest daughter over a miscommunication that I had with her mother, right? And that made me feel bad because I can't take back the discipline, right? So she got in trouble for something that I misinterpret. And so I wanted to come to her and let her know, Dad was wrong for that. What I should have done was ask more questions and then also be understanding of what you were trying to do. So for me, I'm trying to teach my kids to pursue perfection, but know that there'll be some times where you won't live up to it, but you know how to navigate to get back on the track. So that's why I do it. That's a really dope question, though. It's a dope question.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit this with one last question before we get out of here.
Oh,
and yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
My bad.
no,
Go
it's
ahead.
all good. My batteries went dead on me. I had to change a set of batteries out.
Oh,
Man.
yeah. My bad. Go ahead. Yeah.
Nah, it's all good. I wanted to go back just a little bit towards the towards your question, Bruiser, too, as well, about why is it showing our kids that we're not perfect. Because I do it because of the fall from grace that I had with my mother. Right. So I was raised in a Pentecostal house of God where you preach that, right? You preach that at church and you preach that when you go home. So I didn't have a mother-son relationship. I had a preacher-follower relationship with my mother, so to speak. So she couldn't do no wrong because there was no wrong in the house of God, right? There was no, and there was no asking why back in those days, right? In the 90s, if you ask why, you got your mouth full of knuckles. So what I do now is I don't want that fall from grace, because when I got older and realized my mother was just a girl who matured to a woman and had a baby. And that's what I realized all I am now is a little boy who's matured to become a man and that's created a baby. So I don't want my kids to have that same fall from grace with me. I want them to understand, yo, I'm just like you. I'm only here a few years before you got here. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to say, you know what? At some point in time, when they old enough to say, oh, that's my dad, I want them to feel like that's my brother. You understand? I want them to have that sense of, oh, he's just like me. Yeah, he brought me into this world, but I can look at him on the same playing field, on same level at some point in life. Because the truth of the matter is, we had their pampers in our hands when they came into the world. But the way God set it up, they're supposed to be changing hours by the time we close our eyes. And I want them to be able to do that with love, compassion, and understanding that, listen, yeah, he was my daddy, but right now I'm going to take care of my daddy because he never was above me. You understand? He was never above what he showed me he was.
Now, I kind of want to reflect.
That's
back
tough.
to-
I like that one, RJ. That was tough.
I want to reflect back to a show I was on, which the last show was on with you, RJ, where we kind of went over what do we wish we had, right? What kind of father do we wish we had?
Right.
And that's not what you said that you wish you had. So why would you not give them what you said you wish you had?
When you say I wish I had, what do you mean?
So I recall you saying you wish you had not a brother though. I remember you saying you wanted a relationship like a father that you don't have or something like that.
Yeah, no. I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about later on in life. I'm talking about when my kids,
later on in life, like later on in life, right? Like I could kind of attest it. I think I vibe with you on it because right now I don't want a brother. I want a dad. Even still, you know
but
what
see,
I'm saying?
the only reason I said that now is because right now I can't use a dad. You understand what I'm saying? Like
No,
in
you
this space
can't.
that right now in this space where I am right now, I can't use the hugs, right? I can't get back the childhood memories that I wish I had right now. I can't get those.
Is a father only pertaining to? I know that parenthood is a lifelong journey.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And a father is not only pertaining to what you didn't get as a child, but even as a man, I wish I had somebody I could look to that might have been through what I'm going through right now. That could be a grandfather or whatever. Like, oh,
Absolutely.
I dealt with that, I dealt with this, blah, 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 blah. Like that advice don't never run out because they keep living. And so do we. So as they learn more stuff, even in their old age, you know what I mean? Let's say I'll be 40 this year. So prospectively, my dad would be 60, right?
Right.
Like I'm not 60. I don't know what's ahead of 40 to 60. I still need that advice.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
but
the guidance I
is
want.
isn't it safe to say that his reception stops at a certain age? I noticed when I read a scripture about Moses, he didn't get to cross the Jordan River. I think was it the Jordan River? Because
He
I
didn't
Promised
mean,
go. He
land.
didn't get
He
to
didn't
go
get
into
to
the
the
promised
promised
land.
land.
he got stuck in his ways. He couldn't.
No,
You know
he
what I'm
couldn't
saying?
go into the promised land because of what he did as a pharaoh prince, whatever.
But I thought he became unimpressionable because he got older. That's why they got someone younger.
He was not allowed to go to the promised land because of
Well,
him as a
my
prince.
point is, I think at some point we get older as men and women, people, period, and we're not receptive, at a point as to being able to embrace, the changes in society and adjust to reality. At some point, we get stuck. We even get stuck with our attitude, our skills, the way we dress, the music we listen to, all those things. We get into where we become confined to an era, and then once we get confined to that era and it goes on, we really don't even have any interest to try to even
I don't.
redefine
I
our
don't.
mind
I
or
don't.
adapt to it.
I'm not going to agree with that because I'm always here to listen. That's the reason why I'm even here, right?
What kind- what-
I'm always here for growth and whatever. Like, so if I had a dad worthy of being my dad to feed me whatever, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Then I'm here to listen.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know what you're pointing to.
Well,
No,
well,
one
so,
second.
so
Let me
Go ahead, go
address
ahead.
the fact to the point of what you're saying with me, because what I was saying was I would still use the guidance right now, but the love and the nurturing that I was looking for
memories.
as a boy, I can't get those. I don't want those right now. I'm not looking for those. So right now, I would love somebody, yeah, as a father figure, but at the same time, with a brotherly effect to say, yeah, yo, listen, check this out. Do it this way. Give me a little guidance. But I'm not looking for that compassion, that slap on the shoulder, son, you're doing good. That those days are over with. What I refer to is
I
the
think your
guidance
heart
part.
is hardened to you
So,
force yourself to be over with it.
yeah.
Like
So, but,
you talk yourself in. I don't need it, but we all still need it.
I do have to say I get where he's
I don't
coming
know.
from.
I
Like,
don't know about that.
I don't know either.
So from we have these childhood memories like of our parents like doing these certain acts, and that's I think I was getting that, or that was one of the first questions that was asked tonight. Is like, as for these, how do we interact or how do we extract these things from our children, right? And we have those memories of how it was done for us, and then we might be able to then try and see how we can extract those from our kids. So I believe I understand where RJD is coming from, where that time has passed, but I also then see where y'all are coming from as well, because like as a mentor, I remember actually even praying for this, like being in an area where you're the one that's giving advice, right? But then there's nobody pouring into you. Like God can pour into you, but like from a man's perspective, like a man's man, like they say, a man's man. Like there is not someone that's pouring into. And I remember praying to be able to have those conversations years ago with another man who's able to then pour into me. And it's not a shameful thing, because you would like someone and to be able to pour into you. And that's, as for that quote from Proverbs, it says, the way of a fool is right in his own mind, but a wise man is he who listens to counsel. And it's not just any counsel, it's wise counsel. So like, as for being able to have people pour into you ideas, now to think that we have everything, or better yet, as a man, it is heartbreaking, or it is devastating to hear that you're not adequate. But we're all not adequate. So to have somebody come in and be able to provide or point out your blind spots, because your blind spots you just don't see. So to have somebody come in and point that out to you, you better have a level of appreciation for that, because guess what? Outside of yourself, you are unable to see that. So I then see that there are always going to be room for people that will come in, like Bruiser, who he pointed out, to have people who are older to be able to point out to him, hey, young buck, you're missing this. And I think there's a level of respect that comes with that, because guess what? You ain't got nothing but admiration for that person who is able to look out for you, because guess what? That's in your best interest. Like whenever you're younger, like you don't know no better. But whenever you're older, you think you got it all together, but then have somebody come in and point out your blind spot. That is nothing but respect for that person who's willing to take that time to point that out for you. So I believe I see both sides of where y'all coming from. Like RJ, like, yeah, once you that bus has passed, but then there's always going to be able to be those people that will pour into you.
Look, I don't doubt, you know what I'm saying? I don't doubt that, you know, my father, you know, can't apply anything or any principles that he may have, you know, gotten solutions from, you know, putting them into action. I'm not going to deny that. But I think with Prototype, I think it sounds more like he's triggered from RJD whenever he says he, you know, it's nothing he can use from his father. And I think that maybe a couple of your children that you wasn't maybe able to like give most of your time to, or something like that, may be the reason why you really can't really understand where he's coming from. Is that what it is?
That would be a trigger for me too. I'll chime in on
Because
that.
if it was me and if I had kids or something and I wasn't able to put an impression or the right impression I wanted on them, I would still resent that, and I would hope that they would come back to me, you know, at any age, you know, whether they're old or not. And if I heard somebody say, "Hey, look, I can't get nothing from you," that would trigger me.
No, you read that wrong.
Okay.
It's not a trigger. It's just a realization of, in my life, I realize there's still mentorship that I can learn from. And if, like I said, if I had a dad that was my dad, or I guess my ideal dad, right? If I had a mentor that I could learn from that was like 60, who understood that side of 40, from 40 to 60, was what's to come, what might happen, right? Give me some perspective. Then, you know, I can navigate that a little bit with more knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a measure of I need hugs and kisses. It's more of a, just like Dwayne kind of mentioned, like blind spots, but at the same time, it's somebody that's already there to be like, oh, that was a good move on this or that. You know what I'm saying? Or I made my fortune off of stock, and this is how I made it. And now, you know, now that I'm playing in the stock market, like, oh, that's a good move. You know what I'm saying? You need those confirmations to kind of like, you're doing it, but everybody still should be getting counsel. You should never stop learning, never stop getting that growth. So to say like, I don't need a dad now, no, you still, and I understand that people like, you shut yourself off from not having something so long. Like now I'm hardened from, I I don't need no kisses. I don't need no hugs. I don't need no affection. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't get it growing up. I don't need it. No, you still need it. You built up a wall, you know what I'm saying, to kind of be like, I don't need.
You've adjusted.
You've adjusted, but you can still use that. It's still valuable.
No, absolutely. And let me be completely 100% transparent. If my real father today walked through that door, I would open my arms and give him the biggest hug in the world. Don't mistake that, because I'm not by no means the tough guy. You understand what I'm saying? Because if he walked in this door right now, I'd probably punch him in his face first, because I'm still hurt by him. But then after that, I hug him and we figure it out. But when you say mentors, I've been tremendously blessed, man. Like, I literally have a phenomenal circle of men around me right now that I can literally say are God-given. You understand? When I tell you that mentor from the 60 point, I'm blessed with a man that I can call 24 hours a day. My mentor is mentor, but I'm not even trying to name drop, but by the great TD Jakes. So I am literally around men that bless me and pour into me on a daily basis. And because of it, those father wounds that I did have, prototype that you was talking about, yeah, they're being healed as we speak, because I can literally go and hug other men now. I can literally go and get a hug from another man now. You understand? So
that's dope. That's dope. But it would feel better if that man has your DNA.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
And let me tell you something, prototype, and just to be more transparent, my situation was my mother was creeping, right? She was messing with a married man. So my real father is literally, he knows I exist, but he didn't want to ruin his home style. You understand what I'm saying? And also my real father, I've known him my whole life as my mother's mechanic. So it wasn't until I was 16 years old when I broke my leg that he showed up at the hospital, and I had so many questions. Why are you here? And then all of the questions of everybody in my young childhood calling me by this nickname that I never knew what it meant, little body snatcher. And then to come to find out that's his name. That's his name in the street, body snatcher. So all these years, come to find out that the dad I was looking for was under my mother's car. So I know who he was. I know everything about him. I wished it was different. But what I am doing is making sure that my wounds don't leak on my kids. That's my job.
Hey, RJ Day,
Yes.
I got the same situation.
Hey, we're gonna bring this to a close, brothers. Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to finish your statement, Bruiser?
It's gonna be quick. I was gonna say I had the same situation, but with mine is I've done so well in life. I think I overwhelmed my father from, being able to muster up himself to be able to add anything of value because of, his life. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
It's really more like the other way around. Like he gets advice from me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not shooting him down, but as far as him mentoring me, you know what I'm saying, it really wouldn't be valuable to me because there's no way he can like lead by example because of our history. So
Don't you wish it was the other way around, though, Bruiser?
I can wish, but I got.
That's all I'm saying.
I can wish it, but I got kids I got reality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This has been dope, gentlemen. I mean, I have a take on it, but time is what it is. Y'all have done a phenomenal job. Appreciate y'all. Everybody that watches, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out Prototype Dad. Check out Bruiser, RJD, and Perfect Gentleman, and Dwayne and the photography, and all the other people that was on the panel. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, we out here. Deuces. What a phenomenal show. You did. It was great. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could go for a little bit longer. I got somewhere that I got to be, and I'm running behind. So the part that I wanted to say was that we all need a mentor. The thing about it is our current dads, we don't see as a mentor that was not in our lives. And so it's hard to say, well, he can come in and be that now, right? Because of what he took from us, really. The time is gone. However, we also, as followers of Christ, we have to have a forgiving heart, and we're called to reconcile. And a part of reconciliation is to start where you can and build from there. And so I want to say thank you to all those that are supporting Humble Dad Podcast, and make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out humbledad.life. We have some good things happening over there. Merch, we got merchandise, we got Facebook information, as well as you can see the rest of all the YouTube things that we got going. All right, we out here. Deuces.